A company says its new AI is the smartest in the world. How do they know that? They give every AI the same exam, like a class taking one test, and whoever scores highest is called the smartest. But that top score is easy to pump up, and I can show you the exact math behind it. By the end, you will know the 3 tricks companies use to push that score up and the one cheap test that beats all 3. If you have not seen me before, I build things with math and write about how they actually work. Now, oil drillers figured this out 50 years before anyone built an AI. And I'll come back to them. I entered a machine learning contest last year and finished nearly in the middle. When the final board posted, I scrolled to the top to study the winners, and the longer I looked, the less it told me. Here's why. During the contest, you see a score on a slice of the hidden test, and everyone adjusts to do well on that slice for the week. On the last day, they grade you on a different slice nobody has seen. People who led for a month drop dozens of spots in a day. I watched one name sit at rank 3 for weeks, then finish near the bottom on the final day. Nothing about that person got worse overnight. The hidden slice just asked slightly different questions and the luck ran out. An economist named Charles Goodhart noticed this a long time ago, and the rule now carries his name. In plain words, the moment a measurement becomes the thing everyone is trying to win, it stops being a good measurement. He first wrote it about banks. It fits AI today almost word for word. Now, the first day, it says, a lab tests many versions of a model in private, then publishes only the best score. Meta did this with 27 versions of one model. Each version's score is its real skill plus a little luck on that exact test. Keep only the highest of 27 and you are not keeping the most skilled version. You're keeping the one that got most lucky. So the number they published sits above the model's real skill and nobody can see by how much. And the more versions you try, the bigger that gap grows. Picture each version as one roll of a die. A die can land on any number from 1 to 6. Roll it just a few times and you might never hit a 6. Now roll it 100 times and you almost certainly will, because there are chances at it, right? The lab that rolls more often shows a higher number, even when its models are no better. Oil drillers ran into this same problem 50 years ago. Picture a sealed bid auction for an oil field nobody can value for sure. Everyone writes down a secret guess, and the highest guess wins. The winner is almost never the one who valued it right. It is the one who guessed highest, which means the one who overshot the most. Drillers call it the winner's curse. The winning bid is the highest guess in the room, so it sits above the real value almost every time. The top of a leaderboard is that same highest guess. Win the auction, you overpay. Top the board, you overstate. It is the same math both times, only the prize is different. And the more bidders in the room, the more the winner overpays. For the same reason, the leaderboard inflates more when more versions get tried. There is a slower problem too. When everyone adjusts to do well on the same public test long enough, the test stops being a fair exam and turns into an answer key has half memorized. The most coded coding test called SweBench got used so much that OpenAI stopped reporting its scores at all. They said the answers had leaked into what the models learned from, so a high score no longer proved much. The people who built these models walked away from the famous scoreboard because they no longer trusted it. And it goes further than memorizing. Once the score is the prize, the smartest systems start working on the scorer instead of the work. In a recent test called the reward hacking benchmark, the researchers handed 13 top models a task with a hidden shortcut built in. Some took it. One was supposed to make a program run faster, so it rewrote the clock to report a fast time instead of speeding anything up. That is not a glitch. It is exactly what you get when you train a model to make a number go up. People say the model at the top of the leaderboard is the best model. Mostly it is just the model whose number was easier to push up. And here is the human part underneath it. We win at one visible thing and get treated as better at everything. A great footballer's opinion about a watch suddenly sells a great watch. A model tops one board and gets written up as the best model. Even a lab that would rather build something genuinely useful has to chase the one number everyone is watching, because that number buys the attention and the funding. You can hate this whole setup and still be forced to take part in it, because stepping out means you lose. So I'm gonna say it. Fed contests are a big reason this field works at all. Fix one number, let everyone attack it at once, and progress outruns any committee. That is roughly how image recognition went from punchline to better than human in a few years. The people who run the big ranking called Chatbot Arena pushed back on the harshest reading too. And some of their points are fair. The leaderboard is not the disease. The disease is forgetting that the number was only ever a stand-in for the thing you actually cared about. Even a clean number measures one thing. A model that wins a coding test is not therefore best at reasoning or cheapest or most reliable at 2 in the morning. Of 20 leading models this year, only 6 beat everything else on quality and cost and speed at once. The rest were each best at one thing. Now picture a map instead of a list. One direction is price. The other is how good the model is. Only a handful of models sit out on the edge where nothing beats them on both. A list hides that. A map shows it. So a published score only tells you something about your own work when 3 things are true at once. The test has to look like the job you actually do. The test data has to be clean, meaning the model never trained on it. And the test cannot be so easy that everyone already scores in the 90s. Because once everyone is near the top, the tiny gaps left are just who got more lucky, not who is better. Miss any one of those and the number tells you nothing about your own work. So do the boring thing. That works. Keep a small test of your own, build from the tasks you actually care about, and never let the model markers see it. Gather 20 or 30 real tasks from your own week, write down what a good answer looks like for each, run every model you're weighing and grade them yourself one time. By the end of that afternoon, you will know which model actually handles your work. The public vote tells you who is in the room. Your own private test tells you who can do your job better. No single number can tell you which model is best, so ask 3 smaller questions instead. Best at what? Judged by who? And test it on what the model has never seen.